How's it going today? Just like to say
Microphones in the crowd.
excuse me, I just like to say we're really excited to be here, play again in London, and I'll be happy to answer any questions I can.
Mics, please raise your hand. Marcus will hand you a mic.
Hi, Coach. Good to have you back in the UK. You only came over on the Friday 12 months ago, so what was the thought process behind giving yourselves a full week this time?
I learned a valuable lesson that we need a little bit more time to get acclimated, and this is my first time last year coming to London playing football. I'm used to playing home games at home, so I made a mistake and tried to correct it this year. Hopefully it shows on the field.
John, what is the challenge of scheming for Khalil Mack when he's a guy who tries to sack the football, not just sack the quarterback?
Well, the problem is you're not just scheming for him. Floyd is not a bag of rocks. The guy's a great player. They have two of the best inside players in the league, and they have a great blitz scheme. So it's easier said than done. Let's put two guys on Mack. They blitz enough where you can't get help. That's why we brought in Trent Brown. That's why we drafted Colt Miller in the first round. Those guys are going to have some tough snaps against a great player.
Mike? Dick, right back there.
Hey, John, what was your reaction to the Burfict suspension?
I'm not really going to say anything. I've talked to Runyon in the league office. He knows how I feel. It hurts our team really bad. And I'm anxious to see what the appeal says. I'm not happy about it at all. And I don't want to say anything else. I'm obviously upset about it.
On the same note, Nevin Lawson, did he travel with the team?
Yes, he did. He's out here today, and we're happy to have Nevin back. He'll help us in a lot of areas. He's a versatile player.
It's quite well known that the schedules and the way that things lined up for you guys to start the season was something that a lot of people talked about as maybe making it tough to start. Do you think that going 2-2 and having the chance to be over 500 going into the bye means even more because of that tough schedule?
Well, we actually like playing on the road. We've played in Canada. We're going to get a chance to play 2 home games in foreign countries before October. We're kind of like the Rolling Stones, if you know what I mean. But it's a challenge. We've got a lot of great opponents coming up, but they don't get any tougher than the Bears. We're just anxious to go out there and see how we stack up.
Coach, you're kind of well known for like the long hours that you put in with your work ethic. How much does the travel like mess up your own schedule a little bit? And do you think that with all the travelling involved, that a franchise in London is realistic?
And I don't know. I think you have to ask the commissioner that. He's got a lot more intel than I do. It's only my second time over here, but hopefully we play better. That's all I can concern myself with, is trying to play better than we did the last time.
What have you been doing this week to try and make this as normal of a week as possible for the players leading up to Sunday?
Well, we played the Colts on Sunday, and we got on the plane, and we've tried to have a very consistent work week. Yesterday was a player's day off. It was a coach's day to grind and get the game plan together. Today's a normal Wednesday. So it's going to be a normal rhythm in terms of the schedule. And even the setup here at the hotel is phenomenal. This is a great setup. We have no excuses not to play well.
Any differences from a normal week as far as the preparations?
Well, the big difference is the number of players that we're missing. Tyrell Williams didn't practice. Farrell didn't practice. Vontaze Burfict is not here. The NFL has decided to not let him play. So we've had to mix things up and try to creatively get our reps in, and that's what we did today.
Hello, Coach. Could you please talk us through the acclimatization process that you had to go through because of the jet lag that you had, considering the travel from US?
I pretty much feel like I have jet lag all the time, So, look, we have a great trainer here, A.J. Nibel and his staff. We have a great nutritionist. We have, great trainers. Rod Martin's been around a long time, so we just take their advice. We came here and we tried to keep the players active until the early part of the evening. We did everything that we were advised to do. Last year when we came, they did what I advised them to do, and you see it didn't work out. So now we're actually listening to people that know what they're doing, and hopefully it helps our performance.
Coach, a lot of Raiders fans obviously in the UK. How is obviously the new stadium with the first game ever being played at Tottenham's new ground? How is that going to impact the on-field performance from you?
I can't wait to see it, honestly. I take a lot of interest in the venues across the nation, United States, and I've heard a lot about Wembley Stadium and a lot of the cool places that are out there. So I consider this a great experience. I'm anxious to see it. I bet both teams really enjoy seeing something that's as spectacular as this stadium is advertised to be.
In terms of playing, like you said, against a really tough defense in the Bears, do you think that will have any impact on those kind of fourth and short, fourth and goal decisions where you're thinking that you have limited chances to punch it in and you're going to be more aggressive?
I don't know. You might need 5 downs against the Bears. My brother I saw went for it on 4th and inches last week, and they forced a fumble on a quarterback sneak. So every foot you make against this defense is a hard-earned foot. And we're going to have to be at our best. There's no question. This is the cream of the crop, and it'll be a good gauge as to where we are. Hopefully we get some guys that are healthy that can go out and compete.
John, curious, as someone who's been around the league, observed the league for a while, what has stood out about the way that Chuck Pagano has kind of schemed up the Bears' defense this year?
There's not a lot of – I don't think there's radical changes in the structure of the defense. They're still a 3-4 defense. They still are very multiple. They can play a number of fronts in their base, in their sub. And they've got great players on all 3 levels. And, you don't need a whole lot of schemes, honestly, when you have players like they have. They have some of the best run stuffers I have seen. Hicks, Goldman, they're outstanding players. They're deep. They got guys that are first-year guys, undrafted players. I don't know who they are, but they're great players. They pop off the film. They're powerful, strong, athletic people, and they recover. The linebacking core can recover. They're one-on-one tacklers. They're into football, and they're a lot of fun to watch.
Given the Bears held the Vikings to 40 yards on the ground, is there any advice that you're giving to Josh Jacobs at the moment?
No, I don't advise him. He advises me.
Time for 2 more questions, guys.
Hey, John, what's J.J. Nelson's status? And you mentioned Farrell and Williams. What's their status as far as the game?
Don't know. Right now, I'd say they're questionable. Tyrell has a foot. He's been really, he's been hindered with some injuries the last few games. So I don't know. Farrell's in concussion protocol, and J.J. was a late scratch last week. So I don't know what Dwayne Harris's status is going to be. That's why I'll go see what the trainer has to say right after this meeting.
One more?
Coach, the Bears have not let any team scored more than 15 points in any of the 4 games, and they got 6 sacks against the Vikings last weekend. How's the game plan shaping up towards those stats?
Well, it's, like you say, they're a good team. We're going to have to be able to do what we did last week, which is have some balance. They're going to have some running game and some ability to throw the ball in some obvious situations. But Derek Carr is going to have to play his best football. Not only that, we're going to have to play great around him. And it would help if we could get some field position for a change. Our defense and our special teams, they got to get us some field position. Maybe they can get some turnovers to help us out.
Okay, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thanks. Great to have.
Casey, we're coming here. guys. Questions for Trent? No questions.
Trent, last year you had some success blocking Khalil Mack when you were with New England. What sort of went into that? What can you take away from that game going into Sunday?
I think I just relied on technique and just really did what I was supposed to do. I did my job. New England's slogan.
What specifically does Khalil do so well that makes him such a difficult matchup?
Everything. I mean, the guy's a special talent for sure. Definitely got to bring your A game whenever you're playing a guy of such caliber. And just got to do it again Sunday.
Coach Gruden made a real emphasis on the fact that when you're defending against the Bears, it isn't just a case of Khalil Mack, and they have so many other guys that are really talented. Do you find that sometimes when you're the one blocking Khalil Mack, the other guys just put in that extra bit of work to know that if you can do your job, you guys have got to make sure you don't let anyone else through as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the object of the game is to do your job. Everybody, all five of us have to do the best we can to keep DC upright, or whoever's back there for that matter.
Anything else?
Hey, Trent, are you excited about playing here in London? How excited are you about this opportunity to play here?
It's pretty cool. It's my first time being in London. Hopefully we can leave here with a win going into the bye week. Much needed to start the second quarter of the season, start off on the right track.
Hey Trent, last game we saw you walk off or run off with an injury to your ankle. How's your ankle today?
I'll be ready Sunday.
Trent, can you tell us a bit about this Raiders team and where you feel this group is right now, 4 games into the season?
I think the first quarter of the season we were trying to find our identity. Maybe guys may not have been too sure if we'd had what we needed to win in this league, but I think guys pretty much feel like we can win and compete with anybody, and I think we'll see that going forward.
What do you think is your identity for this team? What did you guys find out about yourselves?
I think we got to play smash mouth football. We got to run the ball. We got to stay on track, head of the chains, try to play in third and short, and defensively, just keep everything in front of us and get some takeaways and control the clock offensively.
How was the preseason this year, considering that you had the Hard Knocks documentary crew? Did that affect your preparations in any way?
Nah, I mean, it was just a few extra cameras around. It's always cameras.
When you guys have come out in the scripted portion of the game plan at the start of games, you've looked really strong, and you've had it so that in a couple of the games you've started really early, put the points on the board straight away. How important do you think that is specifically against this Bears defense?
We gotta put our foot on the gas and leave it on. Know they're struggling a bit offensively due to not having their starting quarterback right now, so we gotta really control the clock this week and try to stay on the field as much as possible.
Yeah, Trent, what do you make of the decision about coming over so early? Because most teams have already come over at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You've obviously come over on the Monday. How's that impacted the team?
I think it was a great decision for us to go ahead and come over here and get adjusted to the time change. I think that'll fare well for us Sunday.
All set, guys? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
What up with it? All right, don't all ask at once. All right, good talking to y'all. I'll catch y'all later.
Questions, guys?
What did you see, if anything, change in the Bears' offense when Chase Daniel came in for Mitch Trubisky on the film in Week 4?
In Week 4, you pretty much saw them stick to their game plan. I think Trubisky and Daniels, they're pretty much the same player. You know, they move pretty well, and they have good arms. They, you know, that system is an Andy Reid type system, RPO style. You know, get them guys on the edge. You know, a bunch of crossers, mess with your eyes type of formations and games and stuff. So I didn't see a change.
So here you came to London and saw the stadium a couple months back in the kind of more relaxed setting, and you saw it again yesterday in the football when there was a soccer match being played. How are you finding the stadium kind of in that vibe of when there's actually a load of fans in it? Are you excited to play there after seeing it in action?
Electric. Seeing it last night in that form was amazing. That was my first soccer match, and you know it was a good one to go to. Well, I was not going to say that. They kind of lost, but the stadium and seeing when it's filled with fans, it was good to see.
Can we get your reaction to the Burfict suspension, and how does that change the defense going into Sunday without him out there?
No, obviously it's extremely disappointing for me. You know, haven't known him long, you know, prior to him coming to the team, but in a short period of time we've gotten really close, and that become really like my brother. And you know, just understanding and knowing how hard he worked to, you know, with the perception that was out there about him, how hard he worked to not be that guy, is really, that's frustrating for me to see. You know, the penalty that's been handed down to him, but we just have to step it up. You know, we all have to chip in, you know, pull it together and make sure that, you know, we play for him now, and they understand, just play, you know, hard the way he played the game, and making sure that we're pulling in the same direction. You know, the standard is the standard. We have to go out there and execute. We have to go out there and win games.
Any more questions back there?
You've played in London more than the average player. Have you been giving much advice to other guys specifically on how you found it when you play, and you've had some time where you're maybe used to it now? Have you given specific advice on what they should do to prepare and be ready to play at their best?
Yeah, you know, pretty much it's just find the routine and get into that routine as fast as possible. You know, back at home it's pretty much as easy. You have everything, you know, access to everything that you need. You want, you know, who you need to call for your massages and whatever you need. But here, you know, you really have to get into the swing of things. So I just recommended that they find, you know, exactly what they need to do for their bodies, find it quick. And, you know, being, you know, at this facility, they've made it a lot easier for us to be able to do that. And, you know, I think guys are taking advantage of it. The biggest thing is making sure you get on a proper sleep pattern. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's, you know, you can't beat sleep. That gives your body the opportunity to recharge. So, you know, that was really the only thing I, you know, gave them.
Thoughts on a Bears offense that maybe without Mitch Trubisky?
One more time.
Thoughts on the Bears offense that may be without Mitch Trubisky?
Obviously, we're having more time for Daniels to, you know, operate the system. I think we can expect some slight changes, but as I stated earlier, you know, they're pretty much the same guy, and I think they're going to run their stuff. You know, they have explosive guys on the outside, have some good running backs, solid up front in the offensive line. I think, you know, we have the coach calling the plays. You know, they're going to run their stuff. I think they feel confident in just doing that and feeling like they can go out there and put up a lot of points. So it's really going to fall on us to do our job and make sure we execute our game plan and have 11 guys where they need to be.
Given what we've seen the Bears defense do through the first month of the season, how much importance is being placed on your group, the Raiders defense, to up your game on Sunday and get the ball back to give the offense more opportunities?
No, they've definitely been playing great defense, but at the end of the day, it's not a matter of what they're doing on defense. I think it goes back to what I just said. We have to focus on us. We have to have 11 guys, on defense just doing their job. Do your 111. You can't spread yourself too thin and try to do another guy's job, because then, that creates holes in the defense. And for us, as long as we understand our scheme, understand the game plan, and we go out there and execute that game plan, we'll be okay. At the end of the day, if they don't score, they don't win. And if we have to score on defense, so be it. But I have faith in our offense to go out there and, execute some big plays. We have a big-time offense, so we're going to go out there, we're going to play as a team, and, we're going to go out there and ball.
What have you learned about your defense these first 4 games?
When we're on, we're on. When we're not, we're not. And in the games where we struggled, we realize it's just a matter of guys, just trying to, press the issue, go out there and make plays, and just harping on, just do your job. And that's been the message pretty much the last few weeks. And, when we have 11 guys just doing their job within the scheme and the defense, the plays that you're supposed to make, you make them. And, the big plays, they'll come to you. So it really is just a matter of doing your job.
I feel like your game's elevated this year. What's your approach been differently this year that's given you this early success?
Same approach as always, take care of your body, make sure I'm available. And, at the end of the day, this statement is you can't make the club in the tub. It's like if you're hurt, you're banged up, you're off the field, you're not able to be successful in this game. So I take pride in taking care of my body to make sure that I'm on the field. So that's where everything starts. And then outside of that, this is my 8th year in the league. Just with each year, you understand the game that much more. And obviously, last year, it being my first year in the scheme, just getting to understanding that was probably, just trying to get comfortable with everything. And then year 2 of the scheme, and along with the experience, it just helps me that much more. So, I don't prepare any differently than I have in the past. It's just a matter of me understanding the scheme a lot better.
Given that you're going to have to make checks and do some maybe additional things pre-snap, how vital is that kind of scheme comfort and kind of taking over a lot of what Vontaze was doing in the middle? Do you feel comfortable and confident in everything that you're going to be asked to do now?
Yeah, I feel extremely confident. It was something I had to do last year. Anyways, it's something I've done pretty much my whole career. Having the green dot and making sure I get everyone lined up, get the checks and the calls and everything. So there's no added stress to answer your question. I'm comfortable with doing that and getting the calls executed. It's just a matter of making sure the guys that we have playing, getting everyone on the same page. So I think being here and being all in the hotel together, it's that training camp mentality where we have more time to meet. We have more time to come together and get on the same page, work out all of the kinks. Right now, it's grind time.
Just a couple more.
How difficult is it for you to prepare when an offense likes to use multiple different running backs in very different styles and ways? For example, obviously, they have Tariq Cohen who can do a lot through the air, but they also even get Cordero Patterson involved, and they do things that are maybe unpredictable. How much more difficult does that make it for you, and what do you do to prepare for that?
It's definitely difficult when you have a team, that's as balanced as the Bears. They can hit you all types of ways, through the air, reverses, throwback passes, all types of stuff. I think it really just comes down to having everyone do their job, and understanding the scheme and just having faith in the scheme that it's going to take care of itself. So when you have a team, as such, you just go out there and you execute the game plan, you execute your rules, I would say, and you'll be okay.
Is there a part of you that enjoys playing in the middle more than playing outside, or is there any part of you that likes the new role?
For me, having played, in the middle, the last few years, I think from my vantage point, it gives me the ability to flow to both sides of the field, sideline to sideline, which is my strength, versus playing on the outside. It's you pretty much cut off from certain plays because you have a further way to travel. So being in the middle, I think, just gives me more opportunity to make more plays.
Could it be your best spot? That could be where your best at, you think? Or?
Wherever you put me, I'm gonna make it do what it do, baby. Versatile, versatility is the name of the game, and I think that's what's also allowed me to stick around so long. I've played every linebacker position in a 4-3 defense, and I can do it all. So I take pride in that and being able to understand the scheme and go out there and be able to play any position the coach pretty much puts you in. That says a lot about the faith that the coaches have in me and what I put out there. How hard I work to make sure that I understand the scheme. It's like in the Minnesota Viking game, we have guys going down and coming in and out. I essentially play like 5 different linebacker positions in that game, and that's no small feat at all. You really have to have a big understanding of football and the scheme to be able to do that.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Hello, friends.
Questions for Derek?
Did you say you're looking forward to playing against Khalil this week?
I was waiting for who was going to ask. I'm absolutely looking forward to it. That's my brother. I love him to death. Everyone knows that. He's one of my best friends. We'll be friends when we're all old, and hopefully him with kids. I'm trying to nudge him in that direction. But this week is different. We're competing against each other, so it's back to the pool basketball mentality for me.
Knowing he's been getting in the backfield so quickly, do you change anything with your internal clock or anything with somebody like him in a game like this?
I mean, I've played against a lot of great pass rushers, DeMarcus Ware, Von Miller, Khalil every day in practice for, it seemed like 5 years, there's, if you start thinking about who's on the field, and things like that, you're aware the game plan will help with that, but you have to just play quarterback, and that's how I've always been. No matter if it's a good corner, that you can't throw certain routes on, well, hopefully we're not calling certain things where the routes have to go there, and coaches do obviously their homework, and they're great at that. So for me, I just play football. But if I am going to get in a fight with anybody, it'll be him.
With the game against Kansas City, there was a couple of miscommunications where there was just some little mistakes that you guys wanted to rectify based on the communication element.
Yes.
How important do you think it is to really hone in on the non-verbal stuff before you play in a game where it's going to be really loud all the time and not just for when the defense is on the field?
Oh, yeah. So, that's why it's nice. That was a big, what would you say? That was a big factor for us going into last week, right, on the road in Indianapolis. That's a loud environment. Communication was a key point for us, nonverbal and verbal. And, to have that week before we came here, it helps a lot for sure.
Derek, Khalil loves talking about how he doesn't try to sack the quarterback, he tries to sack the football. How does that specifically affect your internal clock of trying to protect the ball while also still trying to go through your progressions and make your throws?
Sometimes those guys just make great plays. Von Miller, literally took the ball from my hands. One time. You can't. I'm not going to be dropping back looking at Khalil. I don't drop back and look at Von. Sometimes those guys just make great plays. That's why they're Hall of Fame players. You just have to drop back, be on time with your throws, and get the ball out. Whether it's down the field, whether it's intermediate or short, whatever the play dictates, you just have to be on time with that certain play. Because if you're thinking about, oh no, I got to hold the ball over here, he's over there, you're going to mess up your mechanics and all that kind of stuff.
Can you talk about Trevor Davis? Is he getting acclimated to the system? Are we going to see him more wide receiver this week?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's getting more, used to hearing the calls and, the adjustments on the routes. Obviously, Coach Gruden's offense is very complicated. So for him to come in and, in what was it, 2 weeks ago, and to ask him to play, every snap and have every hand signal and have all, that was asking a lot. He had a couple of plays that he probably wanted back, right? That's going to happen. I mean, we're doing our best. We're growing. But I will say this is, out at practice, he had a lot of confidence. You could tell that the long touchdown run, the other run, just him getting to play, in our system, the way he came out to practice today, you could tell he's full of confidence in him, and I really liked it.
What are your thoughts on the Burfict suspension? Was it fair, and how will it affect the team this week?
Well, it'll affect us that he won't be out there. He's a captain. I think the hard thing for me to understand is we say, we're all about people, but sometimes we don't get to know people, right? I think he's one of the most misunderstood people in the NFL. I didn't know anything about him except what some friends that were, from LA, played high school football with him, told me, And when he showed up, he quickly turned into one of my favorite teammates I've ever had. He's one of the most genuine, awesome people I've ever been around. He's a great teammate. He works his tail off, and he's a great guy, to be honest with you. I know that he's had history in other places, but I think people change. I don't think he was trying to hurt that man. The man was going down. You see it all the time. There's flags flying everywhere. But if we think about football, the guy caught it here, and he's already going to hit him, and he's starting to go down. Obviously, you're going to hit him a little higher than you expected.
we see other people choking people out, and they're going to play this Sunday. We see other people hitting people in the helmets, and they're going to play this Sunday. And Vontaze Burfict won't play the rest of the year. I think that's a little excessive, if you ask me. I don't think it's fair. If we really got to know the guy, if the people making the decisions really knew that, the guy that we know inside our building. So I'm just being as honest as I can be, because that's who I am. He's a great person. His heart is broken because he's not playing football. The guy just wants to play football. We don't get a lot of time to play this game in our lives, right? Some of us, don't get a lot of years to do this. I've broken many a bones. I'm sure he's had plenty of injuries. So to be suspended for something like that for a whole season and puts another year on your legs, does a whole nother, it's just, there's a lot that goes into that I guess we just throw out the window. So I know the history situation and all that kind of stuff, but this one, especially with what went on during the week, if we're going to be fair, we need to be fair with everybody.
Hi, Derek. Josh Jacobs made a really good start to his career, played really, really well last week. He arrived, or the draft pick arrived as part of the Khalil Mack trade.
Oh, yeah.
With the way he's played, and obviously you're big friends with Khalil, who do you think has won that trade?
Who's won the trade? I think both teams are winning the trade. I think if you can get Khalil Mack on your team, you're winning. If you can get Josh Jacobs on your team, you're winning. I think that's the best way to do it.
Two more, guys.
Can you tell us about your experiences last night at the game, the atmosphere, the stadium?
Yeah, oh my goodness, that was amazing. I've never been in a stadium that the acoustics were that good. I know I'm nerding out a little bit, but I've never been to obviously a Premier League match either like that, where the crowd is so into it at all moments, every play. They are singing back and forth. They're jumping in rhythm. It's one of my favorite things I've ever experienced. If the NFL could turn into something like that, it'd be a pretty special game.
Last one.
Stadium?
I'm sorry?
And the stadium?
The stadium looks unbelievable. It's first class. We were able to go up into the chairman's suite and meet the chairman, owner, and all of those people wearing nice suits when I did not have one. I felt very underdressed. But just the details on everything, it was ridiculous. And what I didn't know is that at halftime they all went inside and they all sit at a table and have tea. That was new to me also. But I was honored that they allowed us to be there. It was a really fun experience, and I had a great time.
Kevin.
Derek, last year you guys came late in the week. This year you came for the whole week, and you have kind of a Napa setup here.
Yeah.
What differences and impact do you think that's going to have on Sunday?
I definitely feel better. That's for sure. My body feels better. I know our team feels better. Having that day off when you first get here, and then having another day off after that to rest and get right and eat, get your metabolism going back the right way and things like that. As a family man, I hate it, if I'm going to be honest, but as a quarterback, I love it. So I think coming the whole week is a good move.
Last one, Vic.
One more about Mac. What do you remember about your first time here with him back in 2014? What do you remember from that trip?
With Khalil on the team?
Yeah.
I remember we lost and I got hurt. That sucked. But the good stuff. I mean, we were nonstop joking all the time. Like I said, he's one of my best friends, right? That's. I'm sure he probably said that's my brother. We just sitting in the team meeting room. He's always sitting next to me, right across from me, right in the front row. We go eat. We're sitting together. We're on the practice field. I'm talking trash to him. He's coming by and slapping me when he gets a sack. We had fun because what we were trying to do is him and I together in our class, we were trying to change a culture. And we did. We really started to change it. And we went back to the playoffs for the first time in however many years it was at that moment, right? And doing something like that when it hasn't been done in 15 plus years. When you guys are the two captains and you guys get to get drafted together and come do that together. It just creates this special bond that really nothing can take it away. Not even Bears versus Raiders when we're playing each other. We're still buddies, but we'll still both punch each other.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.